Hello, folks. I'm Anticio Duke, and I want to thank you for stopping by. Have you ever worked with different team members and figured that there's a kind of disjointed workflow? Or let's say you're working with a developer and they can't really locate or reference the design source of truth, or you or your team members for that matter. Well, there are solutions on improving the design and development workflow. And today, I'm going to offer you a few tips on how to do just that. So if that's something you're excited about, stay tuned for more. Thank you for joining the fun. For those of you who have been here, you are awesome. Thank you so much. If you are new, consider subscribing. We talk about design, strategy, apps, life, and all things in between that. So let's just jump right into it. Working with other team members can pose a challenge, mainly because no one has a workflow similar to yours. The way we work, the way we design, the way we execute on tasks can take a wide variety of turns, meaning the way someone works in this capacity may be different than what they work in another. Similarly, other team members who work in development may use a different workflow than you do. So we want to be mindful of that. And we want to reduce the ambiguity that goes out there when putting together teams and working on projects. One of the things that more junior level or newly hired designers, whether you're working in an agency, a large corporation, or you're freelancing, one of the things they communicate most is about non-centralized designs or reference files. Simply put, your North Star. What is supposed to be designed to be implemented? What is going into production? What is the feature changes that have happened? And much, much more. So in understanding that that is vital to what you should be working on top of having things decentralized and not in a set location, you have communication mishaps. Hey, I added the file here. You should reference here. Reference this file for your development needs. Hey, PMs, I sent the link here and it's referencing the latest and greatest. No one really has a sense of cohesion and where to look at all times. So let's dive in a little bit deeper so we can solve this problem. Tip number one in improving your design and development workflow is to identify your team members' workflows individually. What I mean by that is how you work is different from every team member. The way you may gather requirements, you may research a little bit, you may start with sketching, where there are other designers that may jump right into a software design tool and they might get right down to concepting and UI work right there. Similarly, working with developers, they might work from a library or pre-existing components, or they might start from scratch, building the HTML or UI components in order to get this feature completed. And PMs, they may gather requirements a little bit differently, and they may use some of your design work to identify requirements, to maybe improve on certain edge cases. So a lot can go into doing and completing your workflow. What you want to do is identify your team members' workflows. This is observing how they actually start their projects. Have them communicate what they actually use in order to get started. What are all the components, the pieces and concepts and bits of data that they need to get started on their portion of the project? What this does is help you identify any individual gaps in their workflow, and then also have the ability to see opportunities where you can help improve that. Now, when you're working with others, there will always be mishaps. So you want to try to reduce any amount of ambiguity that's within the project. Trust me, it'll help you in the long run. So first thing first, identify your team members' workflows. The second tip I'll offer you in improving design and development workflows is actually to decide on a file location. This could be somewhere locally. This could be somewhere on an encrypted or secure server. This could be a file directory on Dropbox. This could be on Google Drive, wherever you feel most comfortable with adding your files and ensuring that they are up to date is the best thing for you. Many times we work from our local machines and then we are not pushing those updates. We're not updating files accordingly. So what we have on our hard drives internally may be different from what's being referenced for other team members. And we want to reduce that problem there. So find and decide on what file location or file structure that you need in order to keep those files synonymous and up to date. The third tip and final tip that I'll offer you for improving the workflow with your team, right, is once you've identified the workflow, you've decided on locations and where to house these critical files, then you want to actually define and standardize a process. And this could mean naming convention. You want to structure your naming convention on how you deliver designs or assets, how they're getting filed and stored, what that process looks from concept or exploration to finalized designs and what will be implemented. All of those things you must take note of. Also, when you actually standardize this, get feedback from your team members. You want them to weigh in on how this best helps them and how this supports the overall goal of the project. You'll be surprised that maybe some things that you do, naming it final versus Rev 1, 2, and 3, may confuse them and vice versa. So you want to kind of get some feedback to see how they're actually working with what you're delivering. And I think as a team, cohesively, this will actually shed and close the gap in communication so that everyone can work on the same page. No pun intended. When you implement these little tips, it will help you and your team members sort of identify and narrow down a source of truth so that you can reduce the gaps and improve software development. All right. Also, team dynamics. Who wouldn't want to be on a team that communicates well, has a standardized process, and you can bounce ideas off to improve? That's all I got for today. Helping you improve your design, development, or just team workflow dynamic. I think overall, as we start to work more in remote settings, this will help reduce the complexity that goes in when you're having a ton of moving parts and people working on different things at a varied degree. I hope that helps. Different tips on helping you define, discover, and then design the proper workflow, and then also get the input of your team members to help you work better. Okay? So if you enjoyed this, give it a like. You're taking some content, you're using these tips. Tell me which one in the comments below, which one would help you even more. If it's standardizing some things, maybe you need to do a better job at that. Reducing complexity on centralizing a file structure, whatever the case may be, I would love to hear your thoughts and maybe some ways that you happen to do things. We're here to help. All right. So if you like this for any reason, give it a like. Share it with someone that you know needs help or could use the value of this content, and consider subscribing. That's all I got for today. But just so you know, your life has color, so make sure you design it that way. And we'll see you in the next one. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or you just have any ideas or some things that are troubling you, maybe I can help. Leave them in the comments below. Be sure to try to make some more content pertaining to that. All right. So we'll see you in the next one. Enjoy. Guess what I am? Daydreamer. Daydreamer. Woo. Yep, that's usually the case.